بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Good morning everyone. Welcome to today's lesson of Traveller 4. Today we have speaking and writing at the same time, but they are about the same topic, which is giving advice. Talk in pairs and take turns. Take turns means student A, or the first student, talks about something, then student B takes his time, and then student A again, and this is taking turns. Take turns to be student A and student B. Ask for and give advice. Giving advice is when you encourage someone or say a few words that guide the other person to the correct action that he might needs to do. So, student A, look at the pictures and imagine you have one of the problems shown. Explain the problem to student B and ask for advice. So, here we have a problem A and here we have a problem B. And we have a few phrases and words in these boxes that you can use to speak about them. How do we improve speaking? If you want to speak English, you need to listen more. You need to listen more and more for English. So listening to English is important for you to speak English. Without listening to how people talk in English, you would never speak English. So listen to student B a problem and give him or her advice. So, for example, what do we see here? We see two people, two friends maybe, two guys, two brothers maybe, arguing about something. They have a problem about something. And here we can see that there is someone who is alone and his friends are chatting in the back or talking in the back. So, what are the words? Or what are the letters that we have, the phrases that we have in the boxes? First, household chores. Household chores. Household chores is the housework from vacuuming, sweeping, dusting, washing the dishes, and doing the laundry, and these all are household chores. Share, which is you participate. So many people share and do the same thing. They collaborate. Responsibility. So to be in charge of something. To be in charge of something, I am responsible for it. Take turns. So every day someone else do the same thing. So today I do the vacuuming, for example, and you do the washing up. And tomorrow I do the washing, you do the vacuuming, and so on. So you take turns in doing these things. Duty or a task. Alone, which is to be alone, to be away from people. So he is alone now. Lonely is the feeling from being alone. This is the feeling, and this is the action, is being only by yourself. Isolated. isolated, which is also alone, the same meaning, but you can't join others. Isolated when you can't join others. Make friends, to make friends, to start friendship with other people. So these are making friends. And here you can use these statements. You can use one of these statements. For example, I have got a problem with, you choose whatever you want, and I would like your advice. So I am asking the other student, for example, I have got a problem with household chores, or I have got a problem with vacuuming, and I would like your advice. I need your advice because for example, how do I share with my classmate or with my friend? How do I share tasks or duties? I don't know what to do about. So if you don't know what to do about if you don't know what to do about something, you ask for the advice. What do you think of the problem or the situation? What do you think of it? What can or should I do about? What can or should I do about? I think you should or had better or you must do certain things, A, B, C, and etc. So these are steps. If I were you, if I was in your place, if I were you, I would do such and such. I would do these steps. Why don't you do this? It would be a good idea to. This is a great idea to do these things. And the last one, if I were you, if I were in your shoes, this is an idiom that we had in the last lesson. If I were in your shoes, which means if I were in your place, I would. So here you have words, here you have statements. Let's imagine that I am asking for advice. I am student A. I need your advice, my friend, because my friends are not making me or not allowing me to join them to talk about a few events or entertainments that they are having. I need your advice. So this is, I am saying about student A. And now I am student B. Try to give the advice. Why don't you ask them first? Why don't you take permission first and say a few words nicely to them? For example, I would like to join you if you wouldn't mind. Why? Why don't you ask that? So here I am asking. Let's say that I am asking for advice again. If I were you, I would, for instance, if I were you, I would take part in their conversation and participate with them and collaborate. So let's read a few of these with Stephen. Why do you think some people would write a magazine why do you think some people would write to a magazine a problem page? A magazine is the leaflet, or let's say the brochure that is published every week or every month. It talks about problems. So now we read the letter below, which a boy wrote to magazine problem page. What advice would you give him? What advice would you give him? What would you say to him? Let's read it together. Dear Stephen, I am feeling really upset. I am feeling really upset. I am very sad, or I am very angry because I had a fight with my best friend. I had a fight. I had a problem with my best friend. We have been friends since primary school. We have been friends since primary school, and we are rarely apart. We are rarely apart. I would say we are more like brothers. We are more like brothers. Why? They are almost brothers because they are always together. They rarely separate. They rarely separate. We both want to do the same course at a university. So they want to study a course, let's say about designing or using Photoshop or an English lesson or whatever. And because we want to stay together, we applied to the same university in London. So they wrote a formal letter to the university to be accepted, to take them and to join this course together. However, I was accepted for the course, and he has been rejected. They didn't accept him. So one is accepted to go to the course and one is not. So he was rejected. I really want to do the course. I really want to do this, but I feel really guilty. I am not feeling good because his friend is not accepted. Ever since he received his rejection letter, when his friend received the rejection or the letter that says no, you are not accepted in this course, he has been really depressed. He is depressed. He is very lonely and sad. He is constantly picking fights with me over little things. So they are fighting always. Why? This is a way of relieving from the depress. So they are fighting over little things, even a small things they are doing, even like eating or whatever they are doing, they are always fighting. And now he says he feels betrayed. He feels that someone cheated on him because I have accepted the offer. So he is angry because I am accepted in the course and he has been rejected. Please, can you help me? Guilty in Guildford. So this person, we don't have his name. He wrote guilty in Guildford, wrote to Stephen to solve his problem. What is the problem again? The problem that he applied with his friend to the university, but one of them only was accepted and the other one is rejected. So They always fight over little things. They always have fight. They don't get along. They don't get along. So, what did what did Stephen reply to him? Now read the advice. Advice. Let's read the advice. And what would you advise him? And compare those advices. What do you think Stephen's advice is helpful or not? Do you think this is helpful or not? Let's read it together. Dear Guilty in Guilford, because we don't have his name, that is what he wrote at the sign off. I am sorry to hear that you are having so much trouble with your friend. I am sympathizing with him. I feel his problem, that he is having that with his friend. It sounds like he is very disappointed. He is disappointed about being rejected and has lost confidence. So he is not confident himself because he was rejected by the university. He was rejected. They didn't accept him. I think it is also possible that he feels jealous of your success. I feel that he is jealous when someone feels like you did something that just to say that you are not accepted, or to say that I was accepted and you are not. This is for being jealous. First of all, decisions concerning your future career can't be based on your friends. This is one of the most important decisions of your life. You have to do what is best for you. I didn't mean that I didn't do anything for him to get rejected. So this is not my problem. I am saying that because it's not my problem that he was rejected. If you want to do the course in London, then that is your right, and you should not feel guilty about it. You shouldn't be guilty. You shouldn't feel sad. Why? Because this is my right. I applied and I got accepted. Since your friend probably feels a bit jealous of you, and this is when his friend is jealous of him, you will have to talk to him about it if you want to save your friendship. If you want to keep your friendship or remain friends, you need to talk to him about the situation, about what happened when you applied to the university. You must explain to him how you feel. Say whatever your feeling is. Say it to him. Next, you need to support him and try to boost his confidence by telling him there are other universities he can apply to. So, yes, we agree that he is rejected, but you need to do something and say to him that this is not the end. You can apply for another university to elevate his confidence and to get his confidence back. And this is why you need also to support him. You should assure him that you will always be friends. You will always be friends no matter how far away from each other you are. You will go to London and he will stay in his city, and no matter what is the distance between you and him, you will stay friends. You will be always friends. I hope I have been able to give you some ideas on how to solve his problem. on how to solve this problem. This is an idea, and Dr. Stephen said he hopes that he did something to help you solve the problem. Good luck, Stephen. So here we have the signing off. He said good luck and wrote his name, Stephen. And here he has the recipient name, which is Guilty in Guilford. Guilty in Guilford. Now, when you are writing a letter giving advice, following the outline, if you want to write a letter about giving advice to someone, you should follow this. First, you have the greeting. The greeting, which is the first thing you write to the recipient. How do you address him? You say dear Mr. Dear Mr. Ali, dear Mr. Omar, and whatever. Use the person's first name. And then you have the opening paragraph. Refer to the problem and say why you are writing. You need to indicate and say in the first paragraph that why you are writing to advise him. Why are you writing that? And then we have the main part, the advice you are giving in 2 paragraphs or even more. At the end, we have the closing paragraph, which is the final comment. And at the end, we have the signing off, which is yours, best wishes, good luck, and your first name. Let's apply these to the advice that we had. So this is the greetings. These are the signing off. Here we have the opening paragraph. These are the opening paragraph. And here we have the main paragraph. And this is the conclusion and the closing paragraph, which is here the last line or the last sentence. So this is how you write. This is how you write to something to give him advice. So after reading this, let's read this letter and write back to Victor, giving him advice. So here we have Victor asking for advice. We want to write to him back to give him our advice. Dear Ray, so let's imagine you are Ray and I am Ray. I have a problem and I want your advice. So he has a problem now. I am having trouble with my cousin. Cousin is his relative, one of his relatives, his uncle's son or his uncle's daughter. We are studying at the same university and we share a flat. So they live in a same apartment or the same flat, and they are studying in the same university. So they are studying in one university and in one flat. The problem is that he keeps on inviting loads of his friends. My cousin always brings friends to the flat. Always brings friends to the flat. And imagine that the flat is very small. And they make a lot of noise. They are always loudly and noisy. I have been trying to study for my exam and it is almost impossible for me. I want to study and this is impossible. I cannot concentrate. I cannot focus. I have been going to the library to get some peace and quiet. And this is why I go out from my flat to the library to study, because studying in my flat is noisy. I cannot concentrate or focus. But when I get back, his friends are still there. Even when I go to the library to study and go back to my house or to my flat, his friends is still there. Last week, the landlord, so the owner of the flat, came around to complain. I had to open the door because my cousin and his friends were making so much noise they couldn't hear the doorbell. So the owner was knocking on the door, but his friends is not listening because they are noisy. So I opened the door for the landlord. The landlord told me that the neighbors were very annoyed. So the neighbors, people who live next to us, is making complaints. They are asking to be quiet. But they were very annoyed, and he said that if the noise continued, he would have to inform our parents. If we still making noises, we will call your parents, your father and your mother, to tell them about the problem, of course. I told my cousin about this, but the next day everything was the same. They didn't change. He always invites friends and make noises. What do you think I should do? I would be really grateful for your advice. Best wishes, Victor. So we have a problem here. We need to give him advice, what he should do. Try to write that and discuss it with your teacher. Thank you for joining us today in this class. And remember that practice makes perfect. Thank you so much.